Hello, everybody. Hebro77 here, and welcome to Talk O Tuesday. We got quite the lineup in store for you tonight. This is Hebro77, along with Sagittarically Speaking, and our very special guest of tonight, Miss The Truth Will Set You Free. How you doing, The Truth Will Set You Free?
I'm doing super good right now.
Cool. And what did you guys think of that intro?
I liked it.
It was very talkative.
I never heard of that song before, and I live in San Antonio, and we have a lot of tacos here.
I imagine so, yeah.
Do you prefer crunchy or soft tacos? That is the question.
Well, I don't eat gluten, so I would have to go with corn now. So I would prefer the soft white flour tortilla, but I don't eat that. That is my favorite.
They have the soft corn tortillas too, you know.
Yeah, those are not as good though. They're just
No, you're right.
I'd have to fry it up, get it crunchy, and make an enchilada or a crispy taco. Yeah.
A page right out of my book.
Yeah.
I like making fajitas. I like making I'll take the soft tortillas and put chicken and cheese in there and salsa and hot sauce and hot peppers and roll them up and put them on the George Foreman, and they come out pretty good off the George Foreman. I'll tell you that much.
You just like talking about your George Foreman. You're not fooling anybody.
Seems like I talk about it almost every broadcast, huh?
Yeah, I'm just messing with you. Hey, if I had my George Foreman still, I'd probably talk about it too.
Well, y'all are making me hungry because I've been eating really super healthy for the last 2 weeks. I've dropped 18 pounds, and I made my own. I do eat meat. I eat like chicken and fish only, but I made some vegan mushroom hamburger meat, and I've been using like gluten-free flours in it and stuff, and then chia seeds for binders, and I made some awesome meatballs tonight. And last night I made hamburgers out of it as well. So yeah, it's been really amazing because I'm not missing that red meat that I really want.
But does it taste like hamburger?
Exactly.
I know it has the texture, but does it have the flavor?
Oh, I am such a flavorful person. I can make anything get past all these stores that sell vegan stuff. They don't know what they're doing. I make it taste exactly like hamburger meat.
Oh, wow. So what's the secret?
A lot of spice and really rendering down your mushrooms in a fry pan with just a tad bit of oil and a little bit of butter about halfway through. But you really want to brown your mushrooms so that it really pulls out that meat flavor out of them. And then I add garlic powder and onion powder and a whole cup of onion. And then I keep rendering it. And then that in itself is just your base, and you can freeze it like that. But then when you take it out of the freezer, you need to put it back into the fry pan, get it dried out, let it cool down, and then you can add like a cup of Parmesan cheese for a binder, or a half cup of Parmesan cheese. I do use gluten-free flour and then some oat flour, and throw that in there, and then season it up some more with your seasonings. Mix that all together, and you can use egg or chia seed. I prefer a little bit of chia seed and egg. Just throw it in, and then you want to put all that mixture back in the bowl, cover it with saran wrap, or press that saran wrap back on top of it, put it into the refrigerator, and let it sit for about an hour in there. And then you can roll. If you're doing meatballs, I prefer to roll them and bake them in the oven. And if I'm doing sort of a hamburger patty out of it, I prefer to put a little olive oil in the pan and then, grease that up and just fry it. Don't flip it until it's really brown because you don't want it to fall apart. But they hold together super well with the egg and the chia together.
Okay. Well, thank you. I would have never have known all that had you not just told me.
Yeah,
It's funny
I have a lot of on my
that
Facebook wall. I've got videos I'm actually making now, which are not turning out properly, but I'm doing the best I can with them, and where I'm cooking. Yeah.
I don't
So
know that I could go all vegan, like to the extreme of not eating any meat. But
me
where you're
either.
at with just the chicken and the fish, I could probably do that. But I would still want to occasionally have a real steak or occasionally have a piece of bacon. But I could see how you could like at least tone it down to a healthy once in a while versus on a regular
Well,
basis.
well, I was a once in a while meat eater, red meat eater, and it just really is not good for me anymore. It just doesn't agree with me no more. And I had toned it down to maybe once every 2 months, and then I toned it down basically down to where it was like once a year. And now what I'll be able to do is I'll pre-make those meatballs because I did a little test run. I made them, I put them in the oven, cooked them. I made them about maybe quarter, a little bit bigger than maybe a $half size. I put them in the freezer, and I'm able to pull them out as I want them and put them into sauce and let them boil in there, in the sauce simmer. And believe it or not, they did not fall apart. So I was really excited about that because when Christmas comes, my granddaughter already tasted it and gave her approval. And so when Christmas comes, I'm actually going to be doing like about maybe 100 of those little meatballs versus big, meaty Italian meatballs, which I'm Italian, so I cook like super good Italian food. So it's really hard to get away from the beef, but I'm not really missing it. I really think that the way I'm making them is really replacing. And you can always season that mix to any type of season you want. You can make it an Italian flavor or a hamburger flavor only. It's optional once you have that onion mushroom base done.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, you just chop those up real small. And it's a lot of fun creating. I created, in fact, I'm going to be making some coconut ice cream with coconut sugar. And I also make a avocado pudding that I really love and avocado ice cream.
Hmm. Can see how avocado with a touch of sweet could be good.
Yeah, it's super good. I use carob instead of chocolate. And so it doesn't have any caffeine, but carob powder is also an antioxidant. So when I use dates to sweeten it by taking the pits out, avocado, a little bit of almond milk, some vanilla, and 1 tablespoon of carob powder with the avocado. And it tastes just like having chocolate pudding. Super good. And I
Huh.
added some almonds to it after just to give it like a little nutty crunch. Yum. Yeah. So
Talk
18
about
pounds in
making people
2 weeks.
hungry. I mean,
Sorry.
come on now. So what's your take on all this Hebrew 77?
oh well, I was just gonna say that me and my wife we were talking the other night. We were joking around saying, um, "You remember?" Here, let me get back to it. Do you remember the movie Vacation?
Which
Like the
one?
European vacation, family vacation,
Just the first
the first one?
the
The
regular
one
one.
with the where they're with the grandma in it?
The ant, yeah,
Yeah, the ant. Is it the ant?
yeah.
Okay.
Are you
Anyway,
talking about like
they're at
Wally
this,
World type vacation?
huh?
Are you
Like
talking
with
about the?
Chevy Chase?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I remember it. I think was that the one with Wally World in
yeah. Wally World, yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, so anyway, we were talking about I was craving like hamburger, some kind of hamburger dish one night. My wife says, "Well, all we got is like the helper part. We don't have the hamburger part." It's like we could make hamburgers like they did on that movie with just a helper. We could roll them up, take the helper part and just roll them up and make them into like hamburgers, And I was like, no, thank you.
That's funny.
I don't know if you remember that scene or not, where they have the hamburger helper, and he's like, well, what kind of burgers are these, Eddie? And he's like, well, it's just a hamburger helper mix without the hamburger.
Huh.
So
Yeah,
Their name
it's supposed to help hamburger, but I don't know if it can help that much.
no, I don't imagine so.
their name is not spelled right either. The Griswolds or the Griswolds now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Wolves.
Griswolds. And then the one that really got me was the Marcia. That Marcia is now Marcia Brady.
Huh?
That Marcia Brady is now Marcia. If you look her up on Google, she's Marcia instead of Mar A or SHA, Marcia, SHA. So she was Marcia. Now she's Marcia. Although when you look it up to watch the scene, the bottom of the video will say Marcia, but they actually still say Marcia in the video. So, but it's all being spelled on Google Marcia, like she's Hispanic. She's Marcia.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Santico, Anduigua. The Marcia on the Brady. My bad.
I don't know. Marcia. Isn't that
Marcia?
Would that not be just a different spelling of Marcia?
Yeah, but when you go look it up on Google, where they show, like if you go Marcia Brady to Google, then her photo comes up as Marcia Brady, but instead of it spelled Marcia, now it's spelled Marcia, which makes no sense at all. You know, I mean, that's just wow.
Maybe she kind of worked for the CIA. That was just her way of telling us. No,
CIA, yeah. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, done that one over my head.
CIA, yeah. That's what it says here. But it's still, I mean, it's still Marcia. It's just
they still pronounce it Marcia. It's just but nobody in their right mind would ever spell Marcia CIA. They would say Marcia if they saw it. Right.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about.
Like this.
I'm going to mute for a minute.
Okay. But here I've got it. Whoops. Where did I have that at? I had it somewhere.
Oh no, you're gonna do that I can't find it thing again?
Yeah, pretty much.
You can never find anything. It could be like if it's online and you're looking for it, it is evading you.
My dreams have been extremely vivid lately, y'all.
Oh, wow. It's funny you mentioned that. I had the craziest dream, too. I don't always get to remember my dreams, but I remembered this one very, very clearly.
Well, what was it? Or was it something you want to share?
I mean, I'll talk about it. It was...
I can read your dream if you would like.
Oh, this one would be really hard to read, but I would love to hear an interpretation of it.
No, I mean, all you got to do, as you're telling me the dream, I'm just going to ask you to give me objects as you're telling it, like if there was a can in the dream, or if you saw a train, or, you know, I'm going to write down the objects to the dream.
Okay.
Is it saying Marcia? Yes, it is. Oh, Marcia.
She don't look like a Marcia.
But I've got the proof that it's Marcia by some other writings that I took a photo of Dan's show when he posted the proofs of it being Marcia. And when Jan would say, Marcia, you know, so. but it was always spelled SHA. So, do you want to tell your dream? You just tell me your dream.
Okay, so in the dream, I am I guess I'm on a shoreline of a riverbank, and there's people out there, kind of like water skiing and jet skiing, and just out there doing water sport, water fun on the water. Okay, different like boats and jet skis and they're water skiing, and all of a sudden I noticed that there are um, predators in the water, like piranha type thing, electric eels, alligators, like multiple different kinds, like a variety pack of menaces lurking in the water. And I'm trying to tell everybody they need to hurry up and get out, right? It's just like your standard horror movie, right? And but I'm like, I feel like I'm screaming, but over top of all the boat motors and the jet skis, people, it's like being deafened out by the sound of all the boat motors and the jet skis. Even though I'm waving my hands, I'm telling them everybody to get out. So there's like a short pier or a dock or a pier or whatever where it kind of
Did you
goes
know
over the
who the
water.
people? Did you know who the people were?
No, they're just random people that are there.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
like it's family members or anything.
Okay. Keep going.
And then so I get out there. I notice at the end of the pier, I look down and I notice there's some type of um, weird thing just under the water where I can like almost reach it, but I'm going to have to lay down on the pier. I'm going to have to stick my arm down in the water to get it. But there's something down there that's of extreme interest to me. So I turn my focus off on warning all the people, and I look around as best as I can see, and there's nothing, right there that's going to hurt me if I stick my arm in the water. Even though it's crazy to do this after I just saw all the stuff I saw from the shore. I reach in and I grab this white. It's like obscure to me. I can't make it out because of the water, but I can tell that it's like glistening, and it's important that I grab it. So I reach down in the water, I
Is it
grab it.
white? Did you say it was white?
Yeah, it's a white. It's white and kind of sparkly, like it glimmers in the water. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Almost like it's metallic. I guess is the best way
Mm-hmm.
to, how the water makes things reflect funny. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I reach in and I grab it and I have it in my hand. And when I get it in my hand and I look at it, I realize it's a horn. It's like a horn that you can blow. Like, so I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I needed. And I start blowing the horn. And for whatever reason, when I blow the horn, everybody looks at me, and then I can say, hey, look, and I point, and you can see where I point, you can see a shark fin, which doesn't make any sense because it's a river, not the ocean. But for whatever reason, I point to the shark fin, and everybody sees the shark fin and starts running out of the water. And then when they get out of the water, there's one particular alligator that is chasing them. Like it comes out of the water and is chasing everybody. And so I go running towards the alligator, and I take something out of my pocket and I shove it in the alligator's mouth, and it makes it turn around and go back. I don't know what it is that I had in my pocket. I don't know what it was. It just, I take it out of my pocket and I put it in the alligator's mouth, and he just turns around and he leaves everybody alone. Then all of a sudden I'm out of that total scene. It totally cuts to a different scene where I'm in the hallway of like a school. I guess it's a school, like a college or a school or a training facility of some sort, because there's classrooms. And I notice all the professors are like jumbled over. All the students are sitting there with their hands on their desk, facing forward, being quiet, looking like very lethargic. Like they're just all like uniform. Like they have, like normally kids, not kids, but they're like more like college students, I guess. They would have some type of they would all be in a different pose. Somebody would be slouched over, somebody would be sitting up straight. They're all in the exact same uniform style, like they're sitting
You
just the
said this
exact
was
same way.
you said this was a school?
Yeah, school or a training facility or a college. I'm not sure what. It's a classroom environment, okay?
Okay, I'm with you.
And and then all the teachers are like muddled over next to a podium. I don't think nothing of it, and I keep walking. And then I go a little bit further, and I go to the next. I go walk past down the hallway, past the next classroom, and I see an empty classroom with one guy in there, and he's got on his desk. He's got all these different Play-Doh pieces.
Hmm.
Like he's got yellow Play-Doh, white Play-Doh, blue Play-Doh, and he's got like all the different like machines like that you put Play-Doh in where you like make it into spaghetti and different. You know what I'm talking about? Like how you can
Mhm.
press it through the different
Yeah,
pressers
yeah,
and
like a little hair center that you can. My
yeah,
grandkids, yeah.
yeah. And he's sitting there and he's just doing all this weird stuff with Play-Doh. I go, that is so weird. Why is he sitting there playing with the Play-Doh? And so I go back to go back. I go walk back toward the other classroom, and I'm like, and the students are sitting there, and all these professors are huddled down, almost like they're like trying to be secret, like they're trying to do something without anybody seeing. So I kind of walk up behind them, and they're so involved in what they're doing, they don't even notice me standing there. And I look over his shoulder, and they're all sitting there grabbing Play-Doh out of each other's hands, trying to form it into a certain shape or size, and they're like going blah, 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 like mumbling amongst themselves, like no, here it's got to be like this, like they're trying to make something, and the other one's trying to no, that's not right. It's got to be this way, and they just can't. It's like they're kind of fussing with each other over what they're trying to accomplish there, and they're totally ignoring the classroom who is still sitting there, just all in the exact same pose. I'm like, this is really strange. So I leave there really fast and I go down the opposite way of the hall. I'm getting to the end here and I see another classroom. And then I walk in to try to see what's going on here. Maybe I can get this guy to make some sense out of what's going on here. And I notice this guy has little shelves, like you kind of like if you think of like how a collector would have like all their things that they've collected over the years, all the fancy um, figurines and stuff that they've that they've found, elegant things that, like with glass and special shelving and set into the wall. But all these things are like really extravagant, detailed, finely, finely shoveled, hardened, hardened statues made out of Play-Doh. And he's sitting there with like a razor knife, cutting and detailing, like with one of those little pointy edge razor blades knives, and he's making these super intricate,
Exacto knife.
detailed. Yeah, like exacto knives. That's what I'm trying to say. And he's making these detailed, like little figures and like just different like super intricate, highly detailed things out of Play-Doh, with the colors all very defined, little helmets on the guys, little swords in their hands. I mean, and the swords even have like all the little embroidery. I mean, it's very immaculate what he's got going on here. And I'm like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. I can't believe what's going on here. Everybody's obsessed with Play-Doh. And that's the point when I wake up.
I got your dream, Audrey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, please.
I was going to say that's a very intricate dream. I mean, it sounds like it very long and detailed dream. Seemed like did you write it down or something?
No, I just thought of it right as I was waking up, and I recapped it.
You remembered all of that, huh?
Yeah, but that's a very rare occurrence, and this just happened this morning. It was this morning when I had this dream, or last night, I guess I should say.
You remembered a lot of detail. I got to say it. I used to remember all my dreams in detail like that, and anymore I just can't. I could barely remember. I can remember maybe the beginning and then towards the end of it, but not in detail like I used to.
So, do you have any? What's your interpretation of all that?
I've just got one more part to look at, and then I've already got it. Give me 1 second. Don't. You can keep talking for 2 seconds. I'm about to
Okay. Oh,
come up
okay.
with.
You're referencing material you
Well,
have there.
I'm referencing things in my mind to the dream and to some materials that I have.
Okay.
Okay.
As she's doing that,
Okay. Okay,
let's
keep going.
go ahead and give the room a shout out real quick. You want to do that?
Who, me?
I'll do. No, I'll do it. I'm just saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me stop screen sharing for a second. I was going to. I had a video up there of Marsha, but we'll get into that later. Okay, we've got Connie Joe Wood, Fizzy Pop,
Oh, wow. Fizzy's in the house.
Lorraine Lamar, Stone Bender is here. Let me scroll down. Eddie Von Keen. He's no longer Eddie Van King, and it's the real one. And let's see here. Let's see if I missed anyone. And of course, the three of us, and that makes 6. So there you have it.
All right.
I've always wanted to do that, by the way, but I don't think we've ever really had Fizzy Pop in the room. I'm sure she's watched our show before, but she just never comments where I could do that pop noise, you know?
Right. Well, you do it quite well.
Thank you.
Okay, I figured it out.
All right.
All right. Let's hear it.
Well, the shoreline actually represents 2 things for you, which would be hesitation and direction. Okay, so something you're hesitating in your life right now, and you're not sure which direction to take. The water in the spring represents that whatever you're feeling, that things may be going too fast for you in your life right now. Maybe not sure which direction they're still going to go, but moving fast, but not sure knowing where you're going. I wrote my notes and I can barely read my notes. That's funny. So the water, it stands for cleansing as well, by cleansing your spirit. And then your predators were they were threatening you, but they were also part of your, and I'm going to say it, okay, it's just more like your desire to be more, I don't know if I should say this online, but it's like sexually in control of yourself, like your values with your sexuality and how you're going to be toward your self-control in situations. Okay, maybe even pertaining to someone you like or something like that. And then the people that are strangers to you, they represent your feelings of vulnerability and exposure. Like nobody really wants everybody. A lot of people think, well, if somebody knew the real me, they wouldn't like me. So that's a thought everybody has ever had. So those are parts of those thoughts, if that makes any sense. Just the part of you that nobody really knows that you really know about yourself. And usually we find out everybody else has the same feelings as us. So we're cool. And then white stands for, again, going back to more of a purity and a cleansing. So when you picked up that white item and you pulled it out from the ground or the water, was the water muggy or was the water clear?
I didn't really notice the clarity of it from the shoreline, except for that it just seemed like normal river water. But when I was on the pier looking down, it was fairly clear.
Okay, that's good. That's very good, because that represents right there that you will start to see your future and the things that you are hesitating on more clear. The horn represented, I don't think that's a word, represented your need to be heard. And the alligator was tough and stubborn. Your tough and stubborn side that doesn't want to make some changes. But then, which was really cool, you immediately, when you didn't want to make changes, you see this alligator and you jump right over into the school. And the school represents your lessons in your life and your classes were 2. So that was really cool because 2 represents creativity and cooperation and balance. And it also represents the judge. And so basically the 2 is a creative energy. So as you use some creative energies in your life right now, you may be able to proceed at those things that you might be, which is the next thing, the statue, would stand for your rigidness in love and not allowing yourself to be more approachable. So you see how it kind of flowed together on that? Like it
Yeah.
just, as you told your dream, and it really doesn't matter. What doesn't matter when I'm doing a dream reading is that it doesn't make a difference if you knew there were other parts you missed, because the ones that you actually speak and in the order you speak them, they'll fall together. So what I think is going on is just basically going back to that alligator, which would be your stubborn part, and feeling sort of not wanting to change. Then you jumped into the classroom, and your classroom, then you found another classroom where there was creativeness in that aspect to get on to finding yourself. And it all ended basically with the statue represents love, and you being too rigid in your love, that you need to be able to, maybe you have somebody in your life that you're in love with and you haven't told them. And so things like that could be part of why you had the dream. So that's pretty much what I got out of it.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. And there's things that I could definitely say you probably nailed it. Other things I don't really see how they apply, but for the most
Not
part,
yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I can agree with it.
Yeah. So yeah, I like the a lot of people when they read a dream or something, then they think an an object, like a lot of people who tell me about that they're always having death dreams. Well, death dreams are actually good dreams because a death represents the ability to start over
But
and
what did you
transfer.
make of the horn? The whole it being a horn, being
The
a horn.
horn, let me go back and look at what I wrote down. I'm pretty much sure that the horn to me was, again, going back to you not feeling heard about your needs, whatever they are, like not feeling heard.
Okay.
That's what I made out with the horning, especially sometimes, interpreting dreams. I do read up a little bit, but there's no way I could have read all of that. But what I kind of do is take it into my heart and then try to go into your dream and think about what your dream was representing for you. And especially through your voice, how you tell your dream. I mean, I had a nightmare last night and my house was flooding. And basically for me, it may have represented, I think we lost Hebrew. It may have represented, you know, uh, going through some trials and things that I need to go through some cleansing on myself. See? So, but there was
Yep.
a lot more detail and I won't bore you with it. So it was these two in the
But the
dream,
house was flooding.
Yeah, the two repairmen came in and immediately helped me. But there was a broken dresser upstairs in my dream, of a dresser I don't even really own, but it was in this room that I do own. And the dresser drawer was broken and it represented me winning like the lottery or something. So I was like, wow, that's awesome. But yeah, and reading my own dreams, it's easier for somebody else. For me, if I have other friends who do dream interpretations and stuff, and I'm not saying I'm always right, but one of the things that you might want to think about, some of the things that I touched on that necessarily did not hit directly for you, those are what I call the things we are unaware of.
Okay.
There are things we're aware of and then things we're not aware of. And you know what? Now that I'm talking to you and I'm looking at your strategically speaking symbol, if you look really close at your symbol, do you realize on the bottom to the left, there's a heart that's not completed?
Yeah, that's the actual Sagittarius constellation.
Oh, so it's a heart that's not completed.
I can see
That,
that.
yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. I mean, that's crazy good. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's your journey or whatever. Because Sages are very independent people. They want people in their life, but they do know how to be alone to their detriment. They know how to be alone, sometimes to their detriment.
That's me exactly.
Well, that's what I was. So that went back to your dream again, hun, where you were at the statue with the rigid and the love, the rigidness with love. See?
Yep.
Be more approachable that's going to be my motto for you now. Be more approachable.
All right.
So anyway, I wrote down some other stuff, and y'all can go talking on yourselves till y'all want to maybe
I wanted to get
talk
back
about some things.
while you're doing
Well,
that.
I was going to mention that Mandela effect. If you guys want to let me do that real quick.
I wanted to get back to the Mandela effect she mentioned earlier because I have an actual video. I'd like to play a clip of it real quick about the Marsha Brady thing.
All right. Go ahead. I'm going to mute up for 30 seconds. Go ahead and play it.
Well, I don't know about 30 seconds, but
I'll be right back. I have to walk into the kitchen and come right back.
oh, okay. I'll go ahead and play it then.
That one really shocked me when I heard about it.
But here's the video. I got the screen share now. Do you see the screen share?
Yes.
Okay. So we're just going to play this clip real quick, and you see there at the top, it says Marcia, Marcia, Marcia.
Mm-hmm.
Now that could be very well a different variant on Marcia. Just how you spell Marcia and just how it's just not pronounced. I don't know.
No.
That's certainly a weird way to spell.
Why would it say that on Google then too?
Well, I don't know. That's why I'm going to play this clip.
She does say Marsha in this clip. I saw this clip. That's the one I was mentioning to you.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and play. Is he back yet?
I don't know.
Did he say go ahead and play it or?
Yeah. He said play it and then he'll be back.
All right.
Yeah, I'm back. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yay.
Here it goes.
I hear all day long at school is how great Marcia did this or how wonderful Marcia did that. Marcia.
There it is. Now I'll play that part again. You can hear it clearly. Her saying Marcia, Marcia, Marcia.
Marcia.
So I don't know.
It's my sister. My sister Josie. She always ran around Marie about my older sister.
Whoops. Let me get that out of there.
Yeah, I mean, we all know she always said Marcia, but the weird thing is that they spell it Marcia.
Right?
Yeah, that's not even how you spell Marcia. I mean, sometimes I wonder if it's that other people from other countries are just spelling the names and they're from another country like India or something, and they're the ones on the computer putting this stuff in and confusing things. I mean, that's just a thought, because the interesting thing, I'm going to blow y'all's mind now, but I just found that was not on Dan's show, was that on another search engine, like I think it's called Duck Goose or something like that, it actually says, yeah, if you look it up on DuckDuckGo, it says Marcia, S-H-A. It does say that.
Really?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
See if I can real quick.
If you could do it with that search engine, that would be great. But the Bob Barker one, man, that's throwing me for a loop. I mean, that's so new, and it freaked me out today. I cannot believe he's still alive.
Yeah, go ahead and mention. I was going to say, go ahead and mention that, because
Bob Barker from The Price is Right.
When do you remember him actually passing away?
Well, I would have to say for me, it was well over 10 years ago. Well over it, maybe even 15 years back, before, just as I was maybe moving into this house in 98, 99, that he had passed. I can't really give you an exact date, but I know it was so many years ago. But I do believe it was close to the time
it was after he retired, but it was also, of course, had to have been after Happy Gilmore. So,
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you know when that was?
no, but I can look that up.
Whatever he was, his Happy Gilmore time or whatever. I don't really know that. That's not me. I don't know what that is. I can't go for that. But it must have been after that. And then I know for sure he died because I was like, when I was younger, when I was taking care of my babies when they were little, I was always watching The Price is Right, and there's no way he's 95 years
96.
old still alive.
Happy Gilmore came out in 96.
Yeah, so 99 would probably be about right.
Wow. Wow. I would say, yeah, definitely between, I would say 99 and 2001. I'll give myself a 3-year leeway there. But I remember thinking, oh my God, he's dead. I'm a sensitive soul, I think.
I don't remember it being quite that. Wasn't he still doing the show in 90 something?
No, because those were replays.
I didn't think Drew Carey came on until 2000 and something.
Right.
Well, let's find out. I can say, when did Bob Barker retire?
There were a lot of replays, though, of his show, because I remember seeing episodes over and over.
Well, it says here that he returned for April Fool's Day in the year 2015. He came back on the show.
That was an April Fool's joke, though, right?
Yeah, it was just for one time. Yeah.
He taped his final episode on
he
June 6, 2007.
Okay, if he's 95 now, what age would that make him in 97?
Did you say 97 or 2007?
In 2007. What age would that make him if he is 95 years old in 2019? Let me get a calculator. I'm not going to count it on my fingers.
This is weird. I looked up, started to type in Bob Barker. When did Bob Barker? And I was going to look up retire, and the word die popped up when I looked it up. There's an actual video on here. It says, host Bob Barker dead at age 94. Bob Barker 2017.
He would have been 83 in 2007.
Wow.
There's no, see, you just saw some residue. Can you screenshot that so we can have it?
Well, I mean, there's video. There's a video. It could be a fake video, but yeah, I could screen share.
But, think about it. The chances of it being fake that he died at an older age is rare. I mean, people die usually sometimes after 80.
Check this out, though.
So strange.
This is weird that this popped up. I'm gonna go to it. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, look how old he looks. He looks older than dirt. Look at the picture to the left of the pictures on the right, like the ones all the way to the right, and then the left photo, the first photo. He just looks so old. I saw that earlier. I was like, wow, it's plastic. I'm getting there. Don't worry.
Oh, it does say here that, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It says Bob Barker slipped and hit his head at home on June 19th, 2017. His maid drove him to the emergency room where he was checked and released. His representative said it was not as serious as his earlier fall. In October and November of 2018, he was rushed to the hospital for severe back pain. But apparently it's not saying that he's ever actually died. Well, no, here it says July 31st, 94, fact check Snopes. Let's see what Snopes says. He suffered an injury, but he did not die.
Do you see this?
What? I'm back.
Can you read
I
that?
see it, but I can't read that small a print.
It's too small.
Oh, well, I can't.
Wait a minute. Wait, I might be able to read it if I put these readers on. Hold on. No, that even made it worse.
Well,
That just made it. This just made it worse. I'm telling you.
it says Bob Barker, born on December 12th, 1923, was a TV personality and game show host who was best known as the first host of American TV show The Price is Right from 1972 through 2007. Bob was also known as an outspoken animal protection advocate and activist. He died on Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, and his death
What?
was possibly because of dog bite. He was 95.
No, because it says he's alive on Google
Well,
But
Tuesday, September 24th, isn't that
that's
today?
today.
Yeah. When did
Oh,
you
wait. So
Google?
this Mandela effect comes up, and then all of a sudden, I find out this Mandela effect last night or early this morning or something, and then he dies today. Come on. That is just like, that is so weird. I can't even deal with it. Oh my God, are you serious? Oh.
Well, I mean, that's one reporting. Is there any other? I mean, it seems like that would have made the news, or we would have heard about it. Like, is there anybody else reporting it?
You know what? Now that I've got it, Wikipedia still has him as alive.
Right. Well, I mean, it did just happen today, apparently, but it just seems like it would have.
What did it say on his Google? Like, what I did is I went into Google and I put Bob Barker dead or alive.
But this is an obituary.
How could you have an obituary made that fast when the day's not even over yet? Wouldn't there be like a bunch of stuff on the news, saying Bob Barker? Do y'all remember Bob Barker dying?
Yeah, that's really strange that they have that one place has him dying today, but nobody else has any mention of it. I mean, it would be all over Facebook. It would be all over.
Down? Can you scroll back down? Because I'm going to blow that up and take a screenshot.
Let me go.
Keep going. Keep going.
Right there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, what, that's so weird because why wouldn't it say it, be all over the place now?
You would think, right.
This is so weird. I mean, I can't even put together how I feel about the fact that I just heard this, looked it up that he was alive, and all of a sudden now he's died today. This is like, oh my God, it's like this creepy feeling. I don't know how to explain it. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, it's just too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I told Dan about this one, and he goes, no, man, I remember him being alive. Dying a long time ago. So I do have the memory of a long time ago, not now.
I remember him falling and hurting himself, but I don't remember for sure that he died. But when I read that thing about him falling and slipping, I do remember hearing about that when it happened. But I don't have a strong recollection of when he died, but I did think that he had already passed.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm kind of over here just kind of scratching my head, like, what? How did he die today? And why is there nothing? I'm going to look on my computer real quick. Why is there nothing on, type in Bob Barker died today. Bob Barker died today.
This is showing a death hoax that happened a while back.
Sorry. Oh, we getting calls?
No, that was me. That was my computer. Somebody I'll just turn my volume on my computer down. I was looking up Bob Barker called today, and then a friend of mine was trying to say hi to me. Bob Barker died. Listen to this. He was born. It says his active years were 1950 to 2007, and he died. Wikipedia. I was looking under Wikipedia. It says 1956 to 1974 for the for hosting a show called Truth or Consequences. I remember that. Who remembers Truth or Consequences? 1956 to 1974. He did the Truth or Consequences. Do y'all remember that show?
Yeah, your mic just went goofy.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's coming back.
It's because when somebody dinged in, it came into the cell phone and onto the computer, and then it kind of threw things off. So he retired after The Price is Right, celebrating his 50-year career in television. It's not saying anything about him dead in Wikipedia.
Yeah, I think that's just going to have to be I think we should just assume that he's still alive, but he's definitely one of the most mysterious cases of is he alive or is he dead that we've yet to encounter.
Well, I did find something that says his former Price is Right host Bob Barker dead at age 94. He died July of 2017 after falling and hitting his head at home. And it says false. It says false.
That's false.
It says false.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to let that one go. But I recall him dying many years ago in the 90s.
I'm with you. I kind of vaguely remember that there was a time when I heard that he had passed as well, but I don't know if it was during that whole hit his head thing or not. But the weird thing of him finding something where he passed away today, that's really kind of odd.
It's chilling.
Yeah. We don't know for sure that he really did, because that's just one thing online that may be one of those things where somebody's just putting out fake information. You know what I mean?
Do you remember, but why would they do it as of today when all this
because
stuff
the algorithm on the website could be triggered or set to trigger for whatever day you type in the search. It uses today's date.
Oh, or maybe even like we've been seeing a lot of these really weird videos and websites going up that are trying to prove that a Mandela effect is not true, and they're coming up with all kinds of excuses why the Liberty Bell has one N on Pennsylvania instead of two. And y'all know that one, right? Pennsylvania used to be just one N, and William Penn had one N. Now William Penn has two N's, but the Liberty Bell still has one N. Now, do y'all remember Peter Boyle from Everybody Loves Raymond? And he played on the X-Files as well. Well, I was talking about that earlier to y'all. And the strange thing is
he also played Frankenstein and Young Frankenstein. Remember the Young Frankenstein
with Gene Wilder.
Yeah.
And they don't have him on here as dead. Wait a minute. No. And the wrong thing. He's not. That's weird. I know. Okay, see, he died December 12, 2006. But I found a video in 2016 with him saying, it was posted 16, where he goes, I died. He says, I died. And came back.
Do you happen to have that video anywhere?
I can look it up real quick for you and then tell you where to find it, kind of give you the heading of it. So I'll look that up real fast.
If you could send it to our Hangouts, I could screen share it.
Well, I don't know. I might be able to send it to the Hangouts through my computer because I did load down Hangouts on my computer. So I'll try to do that.
While you look that up, I'll share the other one that I was going to share. We'll ask the chat room, okay?
Awesome.
So chat, if you can hear me, I want you to say the title, complete the title of the name of this book. It is a female's.
This is a big fella.
It is a female's name, and it is the Diary of, and then complete the title of the book in chat. The Diary of.
We'll give them a moment because the chat kind of lags a little bit.
Yeah.
So, we got 12 viewers right now. And I already know what our answer was, me and the truth, and the things you forgot. Did you see what he? Oh, you
Yeah.
had up.
Yeah, I came in to look at it.
Okay.
We're getting Chaos Reality says Anne Frank. Things you forgot, an angry black woman. Euler Greg, Anne Frank. Lorraine, Anne Frank. Okay. So we've got, I'd say the popular consensus is Anne Frank. However,
Wait. What was there a movie called The Diaries of an Angry Black Woman?
I don't know if there is or not.
I thought
But
there was.
however, there was a movie called The Diary of Anne Frank. Came out in 1954.
That's
But
what
the name of the book, authored by Anne Frank, is actually titled The Diary of a Young Woman. Now, I don't recall that ever hearing that title, The Diary of a Young Woman. I do remember hearing, yeah, I've heard of The Wimpy Kid, yes.
Yeah. There's been several of those that in there.
Yeah, I've heard of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but not The Diary of a Young Woman.
I guess The Diary of an Angry Black Woman, that's Medea.
Yeah, or something Medea related.
Yeah. But yeah, now what is the name of it again?
The Diary of a Young Woman. And if you Google it, that's what'll come up. You can type in The Diary of Anne Frank and it'll bring up The Diary of a Young Woman.
I'm going to do that right now. Just so I could share it. How do you spell diary?
Diary.
When I typed it in, Anne Frank did come up in the web search. Now let's see what. But it wasn't Google. It was. Wow. Yeah. Look at this. Check this out. I'll show you what the actual. Let me go to screen share here. Screen share. Hit that button. I don't know why you got to hit so many buttons. There we go. And boom. Check this out. You guys see that? See, I typed in The Diary of Anne Frank, and that's what I got. Anne Frank, the actual title it shows down here is Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. That's definitely looks bizarre, man. I don't remember it being titled Anne Frank. I remember it being titled The Diary of Anne Frank, but not Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl. Are you guys seeing this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I looked it up before the show.
Well, I know you did, but...
Oh, okay, my bad. I always assume you mean me. How self-centered of me to think of it.
Right. Let me go to images so we get a bigger picture of this. Blank page. There we go.
RoboCub says, "Don't use Google; it's a trap."
See that? Well, it's a trap. It's a trap. That's why I use Bing. Bing. Wait, this is only $1.03.
Go to the second one in that thing you had there. It says Chaos Reality.
The second one.
Yeah, when you're on the where you can see all of the titles.
Oh, okay. Hang on. This one?
You're terrible with backspace. There's a back arrow in the corner there. There you go.
This one?
Customers who viewed Life Anne Frank, the diary at 70s, her life and legacy also viewed. Okay. So that's just something different. It's not the actual book.
Yeah, but look, here's some residue though. Look at this. The diary. Oh, okay. At 70. I thought it was some residue there for a second. I thought it said, because you look at the top, it says the diary and Frank, but it doesn't say it. It says the diary at 70 and Frank.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I'd say most people remember the Anne Frank. I don't know that I would. I don't know how many. You might. I can't imagine you ask in a chat room anywhere, and them saying of a young woman instead of Anne Frank. With me just saying, tell me the title of this book.
Look at this.
I mean,
one.
I would be shocked.
Look on the book. Look at this one. Walmart. Sorry.
Sound effect.
Yeah, look what that says. There's some residue right there, possibly.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, the name of the movie that was Diary of Anne Frank.
Is this the movie?
It says drama scripts, so I don't know if it's scripts from the movie.
But you would think that they would get the title correct. Like they would use the title from the book, you know what I mean?
Well, not if it's scripts from the movie.
That's true, but I still would count this as possible residue.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really think there's certain ones where I don't even think the residue is necessary. I mean, 100,000 people's memory is residue enough for me, you know?
Well, no, I mean, you still like to see things that show it the way that they. Here's another one. See this one?
But with them having a movie
That
title, residue is going to be easy to find, but it's always going to be in reference to the movie. That's what I'm getting at.
Is the Diary of Anne Frank? The Diary of Anne Frank. Is that the movie? That's the movie there. Let's scroll down. This one. That doesn't. Is that the another movie?
I'm not sure. It's one of those things where we would be better off to look for it instead of doing it while we're live. Because you're just gonna run it. Yeah.
Lots of evidence there for what it used to be as opposed to what it is now.
Oh yeah, the way people remember it versus what the official title of the book is definitely a Mandela effect in my book. Not that I ever wrote a book, The Diary of Sagittarius.
The Diary of a Young Man. Or, wait.
Oh yeah, that's what it was called. I forgot.
The Diary of a Young Man named Sagittarius.
No, when the movie comes out, it'll be The Diary of Sagittarically Speaking.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
That will be it. Well, we got is The Truth Will Set You Free. Are you still on here? We didn't lose her, did we?
I don't think so. She might be out buying the book.
Right. This is I would definitely classify this as a Mandela effect. So good find, man. Good find. For sure.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of. But you know what? I've never read the book. I don't have it. It don't really personally resonate with me like real strong. But I can't imagine the title of the book being of a young girl or young woman or whatever it is.
Data Junkie just joined the room. Hello, Data Junkie. How are you tonight? So we've had some really good Mandela effects on the show tonight. I think when the truth sits, she's got her microphone muted. I think maybe What did she say she was doing? Looking up something?
She said she had to do something real quick. She was
No,
looking up that video.
Well, what I
Oh.
did is I found some videos that look like it, and I was on mute because I've been trying to scroll through them and find the exact timestamp where he says it, and I'm not successful. I found the videos that there's like a bunch of them on this interview he does, so I probably have to just bring this to y'all another time because I'm trying to listen.
Okay.
I turned y'all down a little, so I almost
Well, let's
didn't
go
hear
in
you.
a different direction.
Yeah,
You said
but
you had a
I'll
story.
get that. I'll get that to you and send it to you because it's going to drive me crazy now. So I'll eventually find it.
Or you're just welcome to come back when you have it and you can present it.
Yeah. So, what do y'all want to go a different direction?
Well, you said you had a story you wanted to share, a ghost story.
Yeah, I've actually got. I just don't know which one I should tell. That
You know,
I
it
could
is
tell y'all.
it is getting
Two-
close to Halloween time. I mean, we're almost October.
Woo.
So yeah. Why don't we hear some ghost stories now?
Okay. Well, I can tell some.
Can you
Sort of,
can you bring up a little campfire there, Hebrew, on the screen while she tells it?
I'm good, but I'm not that good.
Oh, well, you just YouTube campfire and one pops right up.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but
why is it not?
I don't have any s'mores. I gotta have my marshmallow, and the
Well, I got the Hershey bar and the graham crackers.
what were they talking about the other night? Demon s'mores?
I got the Hershey bar and the graham crackers.
Sorry, I was putting it on the on my computer. But you know what's really weird? Your channel doesn't show up that you are live streaming right now. Like usually you have that little red sort of live stream radio thing. It's not on there.
Well, we're definitely live right now. I can tell you that much.
Well, no, I know that, but I'm just saying, it's not showing it.
17 people watching. We better be live.
It's a Mandela effect. I'm just kidding. Well, mine are more true.
Zombie
stories.
Cat Cub just showed up, by the way. Sorry, and red shirt.
No, go ahead.
All right, you got a full house. Now, what were you trying to say?
I'll say mine are more. I have a bunch of sort of ghosty, scary stories, but mine are mostly of my stories are true. They're things that have actually happened in my life.
So you would say it would be safe to say that it's based on a true story, but you may change some of the names to protect the innocent.
No, I'm the only innocent. I'm the only innocent one here. But
so is it loosely based or strongly based?
Strongly based.
Okay, well, let's hear it.
Okay, so I have a few of them, but the one that I'll tell you first is where it all kind of started for me when I was young. I lived in Germany, and I used to live at this place called, it was on a street in Berlin, back above a bakery, which my sister, believe it or not, just went to Germany, and she said she couldn't find it anymore. And I'm sure there's been, changes since then because I'm old. Okay, so this is back when I was about maybe 18 months old to 2.5 years of age.
Okay,
maybe.
You were itty bitty.
I was a baby, but I was already, because I had a brother and 2 sisters, and I was the baby of the family. I could always clearly talk and, grew up really quick because I was always interacting a lot. So, in fact, I grew up way too fast. We were staying at when we got into town, my father was in the military, and we were staying at a house in Germany above a bakery. So you could always smell when they were like doing the baked goods and stuff. But basically, nobody told my parents that the place that we rented, the reason it was so cheap was because there was this baby that had been murdered there by the I and I didn't find a lot of this out till later, and I'll tell you, kind of fill you in on the story. It's not going to go that fast. I'll try not to take too long on it. But when I got older, I found out a lot more information about it, about maybe 5 years before my mom died, which was, maybe 2007 or 8. Me and her talked. She died in 13. But when I brought it up to her, she was pretty shocked that I remembered it. But what happened was we moved in there, and there was a couple that had lived in there prior to, who had a baby, and one was a military man from the States who'd married a German woman. They had a child there, and then they were very intoxicated, and they beat this child on the wall till they killed it. Now, that's a horrible thing because it was a real child being murdered. But when we moved in there, I can actually still sort of see the bedroom and stuff that I stayed in. And this is where I start. If I look back now, I can go, well, obviously, I was gifted in some ways to be able to see things a little bit differently. And I was staying in this room, and my room just happened to be shared with my younger brother. Of course, he was probably just maybe 3 or 4 at the time. And my mom said that at night I would start screaming. Now, of course, I remembered it. It's hard to explain what I'm trying to say. I remembered it around 2007. I think it was 2006. I remembered it because I was watching this movie. This lady down the street, a friend of mine, I called her up, and she said, when someone you die loves in a fit of rage, a spirit is left behind. And I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, oh, I'm about to watch the movie The Grudge. Well, I had no clue what The Grudge was, but I was interested in the same. So I ran out and rented the movie, only to scare myself to death.
I know, right?
Right. I had no clue what I was about to see, this head coming down the steps. But what was weird, while I was watching this, I was dating a German citizen from Germany. He would fly into San Antonio, had his own plane. It's a pretty interesting story, but it was a sort of a synchronicity that I was about to start having memory. And he was trying to get me to come to Berlin to visit, which actually inspired me to work real hard. And I had plans on taking some vacations when I got older. And so I ended up using that energy to pay my house off. And then, of course, I broke up with him, but I've got a really nice paid off house. So, just little things that all kind of attached itself to this situation for me over the years. But going back, I rented the movie and I was watching it, and all of a sudden I started remembering, seeing this baby. And my mother, I called her in around 2006-07, and I said, Mom, did we used to live at like 69 Kabusadom-Strasse? She goes, oh my God, not again. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, you scared the hell out of your dad. So we moved out and moved on to the base, which my sister, really cool, just yesterday gave me her whole story of Germany visit. And she actually got to see the buildings that we used to live in. They're still there, but they look a little different. Like somehow there's balconies added to them now, which is kind of odd, to add a balcony after. But she went to Germany and got to visit, on base where we stayed at the barracks. And my dad had moved us out there because the house that he wanted us to stay in, I'm in my room with my brother, and I'm yelling, the baby on the wall, the baby on the wall. And my mom comes in, and she would turn on the lights, and she would touch the wall, and I would be screaming to her that she was touching blood, but there was nothing there. And then she said that she used to come in the room when because remember, think about how young I was at the time to go through this, but it's kind of affected me in some ways, I think. But I would take the baby, and she said I would be like talking to it and rocking it and all kinds of weird things that went on. Well, we ended up, when this came to me was during watching The Grudge. I was like, oh my God, I remembered this. I don't know what had triggered it. But my mom said she couldn't believe that I actually remembered that, and that I had the whole family, scared to death. And then she went in and checked the records on the house. And that was the exact room and the reason the people rented it to us to begin with at such a low cost was because there was a murder on the property.
Huh? Wow.
Are y'all still there? Wait a minute.
No,
Okay.
wow. I mean, that was the reason they rented it, you said.
Yeah, for a very low rate. I mean, the bakery was above, it was above a bakery, so it smelled super good. So I don't know if you've ever had any German bakery stuff, but it was, back in the day. Now, of course, we're talking 1964 to 65. I'm old. Yeah. So that was my Germany ghost story, but it kind of led to who I became as I got older. Because as I got older, I was staying in a house here in San Antonio. I used to live in Kirby, Texas, when I was growing up. And we had a house on a street called Hickory Hill. And there was lots of situations that went on there. But go ahead.
No, I was just repeating your street you were talking about. Hickory Hill. It sounds like a spooky street, Hickory Hill. Like the hills have eyes, or like the haunted house on the hill, or something like that. Just saying.
Yeah, I grew up in that house, and there was all kinds of times. Like one time I was sitting on my porch, and the lady across the street, well, the lady and the man were a preacher and his wife, and they had children. And this girl, Lori, I literally was sitting there on the porch, and all of a sudden I was outside by myself, and I see her come outside, but it was just like in a vision. And she gets on her bike and rides down the street and falls. And that was kind of like in a day when people would all gather if somebody got hurt. Now the neighbors would just run you over with the car, But so all of a sudden, after I visualized this, I see her come outside, open her garage. She gets on her bike, goes down the street, and got hurt. And I remember going in my room as a child and thinking that it was my fault that it happened, not that I had a vision of it happening, sort of like a predestination. Not destination. What would be the word that I was trying to use? Like a premonition. Premonition.
Premonition, yeah.
That's what I said. I don't know why I said destination. Maybe it's late. I don't know. But in the house that I live in now, I'm always told that there is, I've been told by numerous people, even my clients, because I do work from home, and they told me that there's ghosts in my house, and they're usually on my stairwell. Well, I had some experiences that were really interesting. Should we play like Halloween music? I'm just kidding. Like do 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 do. Oh, sorry. But kind of it's scary to tell the stories because I have to go to sleep in this house afterwards. But I usually don't stay too afraid. But I'll tell you one that I thought was really interesting. I used to have my two Chihuahuas, of course, R.I.P. Chico and Cha-Cha, because they're both passed away now. One was 16, was Chico, and his wife's name was Cha-Cha, and she was...
There you go. Okay.
I thought somebody's phone was ringing.
It was Michael Myers' ringtone.
That's really good. That's really good. Oh, but so I totally lost it now.
Yeah, Chico and Cha-Cha?
Chico and Cha-Cha. So Chico died at 16, Cha-Cha died at 19, and they were my Chihuahuas. And every time I tried to eat something, they would always just jump all over me. So one night, I decided I wanted to have like a big old Jethro Bodine bowl of cereal. And I did not want this is back in the day before I ate the way I do now. I'm not total vegetarian, but I do eat meat, but mainly vegetables. But so anyway, so I decided that I would put the dogs in the backyard. And I used to have this, like when you have a bolt lock at the top of your door where you can use a key on the inside as well. Okay. And then you had a key that, you had to use the key on both ends. It was not like a turn bolt. And I always would leave the keys hanging in the door and till the end of the night, just in case I had to get out. I didn't want to be locked in the house. So I put the dogs in the back, and I remember walking toward my kitchen. Now, as I'm walking toward the kitchen, I can see my front door, and I can always tell by just looking at my front door if the bolt is locked or not in that little crack. So I saw that it was locked. I went into the laundry room, switched around laundry, and headed into the kitchen. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, and so I walked into the kitchen, and I got a bowl out of the cabinet. And right when I got the bowl out, I went to turn to set it on the counter, and I saw two shadows underneath my feet, just kind of like go by. And I was like, what is that? And just kind of startled me. So I looked again, and they turned into my dogs. So I tried to have logic on this, and I said, well, maybe the back door pushed open. Maybe I didn't lock it right or something. So I looked over this banister that looks over. My house is fairly large, but there's a banister that divides the living room where the back door was and the dining area. So I came out of the kitchen, went in the dining, and looked across, and the door was closed. And so I decided, well, how did they get in? So I walked toward the door, and the door was locked and the keys were gone. Now, of course, I don't take my keys out of my door back then. Now I have a turn lock because I don't want to scare myself to death. But so I was like, oh my gosh, where are my keys? How did they come out of the door? And now I walk toward the front door, and I look, and my alarm to my house is now set.
Oh.
Now, I don't set my alarm to my house until I'm ready to go to bed, or tonight I set it because I know I'm not, I'm in the bedroom area kind of, so I don't want to go back in there and lock everything up. So I was looking around, and I was like, what is going on? Where are my keys? And so I get on the phone with my daughter, and I'm like, I cannot believe this. I cannot find my keys anywhere in my house. It's like super spotless. Like I'm kind of like Martha Stewart on steroids. And yeah, seriously, it's bad. I am like just the most organized person, and at least as far as I know, there is
picturing Martha Stewart on steroids. I'm going to show you how to bake a cake. This is how you do it. You take about 12,000. You take about 12 dozen eggs, and then you put them in a bowl, and then you mix this big old gallon of milk in here.
Yeah, just imagine her beating the eggs and the batter just flying all over the room.
By the way, I just wanted to let you know you scared Data Junkie off. Just saying. She said this is getting too scary for me. I'm out of here.
I'm sorry.
And you know what? I always kind of really get freaked out when there's a story about a serial killer. Get it? Serial killer? Because you're having a bowl of cereal.
We were talking about cereal earlier. He asked me what I was doing. I said, I'm watching the old 1940 Batman serials. And he's like, now what's a Batman cereal? I said, well, it's less crunchy than Superman cereal.
Oh, that's funny. So I'm sorry I scared her off, but so what happened was I was looking for my keys everywhere. And I have this really long dining table, almost like, you could use it as a conference table. So it's long, and it stretches out to the other end of my dining room, which is an area I never walk around in my house. Like I don't go over there and walk over there because it just isn't accessible.
It's out of the way. It's not in your normal path order to go from one place to another. I'm with you.
And so I was on the phone with my daughter, and she's like, well, retrace your steps. Do you think that you locked the door? Did you say? I said, why would I set the alarm, take the keys out of the door when I knew after I was going to eat that I was going to let the dogs back in? I'm not going to take those keys out of that back door because I had my own fear of being, not being able to get out. And so, sure enough.
By this time, Your cereal is totally soggy. Just saying.
Well, I didn't get to pour it yet, sweetie. I
Oh,
got the
okay.
bowl out, but I didn't get to pour me a Jethro Bodine. You remember Jethro Bodine
Yeah,
from the Hillbillies, Beverly
yeah.
Hillbillies. And so the keys were at the other end of my table, sitting on an area that, of course, was clean because I have a lady who comes in and helps as well. You know, I do 90% of it myself, but now as I'm getting older, I do have, you know, I act like I'm 90, y'all, um, but yeah, the keys were at the other end on one of those placemats that I have, you know, sitting there, and it was just so strange, so incredible that I remember not sleeping that night because I was wondering what happened. So that was one. I wrote down a list so that I would stay on track of the different ones that I could remember. So I had this girl over my house one time, and her mother would come over and they would help me to, you know, I do different types of therapy. I do massage therapy, and I also do mind, body, and spirit therapy. And I've been a therapist for about 32 years, and I'm also a personal life coach. So I don't usually, so it's kind of odd that I'm on a Mandela channel. You know what I mean? It's because, you know, most people would be like, a therapist on a Mandela channel? That's not correct. But so this girl and
The
her mother,
Mandela effect doesn't. It's an equal opportunity um, a phenomenon. It
right.
doesn't. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So it ended up happening that I went ahead and had them over because I would pay her and her daughter to fold sheets. Okay. And so, and sometimes other things too that she would do around my house. So she was over with her daughter, and it's hard to explain, but I have this bathroom that's under a stairwell. And as you come out of the bathroom, if you immediately take a right, it goes into my first office, and then it goes into another door that goes into a bedroom. So we'll just say as you're coming out that door, if you go to the right, immediately, those two doors almost meet each other when you're walking straight out of the bathroom. The one to the right is just right there, like they're coming to a little corner. And if you go straight ahead, if you come out of the bathroom and you turn to the right, there's my living room. And there's, I had a chair straight back to the right. As you're coming around to the right, you just keep going. And her daughter, what happened was I was coming out of the bathroom and I saw something go in front of me like a shadow. So I thought it was her daughter because the mother was standing where I could see her as I opened the bathroom door, folding sheets in the middle of the living room. And I come out of the corner and turn the corner thinking that I'm going to see her daughter not there because I thought her daughter walked into my bedroom. And her daughter is sitting on the chair and she's leaning back and her eyes are like the size, like, you know, in a horror movie. And she's like, she saw a ghost. And she saw this thing go up the wall, then come back down and head toward the room. And her mother to this day will still call me, what was that in your house? And I kind of look back at the times in my life that I did have this one particular energy that was always with me from the time I lived in the house before this one, back in the 90s. I moved into this house in 97. Okay. So I was in 91 to 96 before I moved here. August of 97, I moved here. This particular thing was always, you know, energy or whatever. I would see dark shadows in the house. But that was the first time I actually physically saw it in this house. And so that girl saw it too. And her mother was always, you know, to this day, she'll be like, what was that? You know, and I thought maybe her daughter, I said, well, maybe your daughter brought it with her. But so moving forward to the energy that's in my home is around Christmas time, about 2 years ago. I have a real clean house, okay? And all of a sudden I smell the smell in my kitchen like I had had a rat that died or something. And I'm telling you, I have Martha Stewart's kitchen, okay? So there's no rats dead in my house. And so every time I went over to this one drawer and opened it up, and every time I went over to it, hold on one second. Let me see something. Yeah. Okay. So sorry about that. I got sidetracked. So every time I would go, into the kitchen, I would smell this really strange smell. And I knew I had all these guests coming the next day to my house. And I thought I've got to find it. If it's I don't have mice, but and that's exactly what I thought it was a mouse or a rat. So I decided about 10 o'clock at night, after my son-in-law had come over earlier that day, took out all the drawers, went through the whole kitchen like crazy. And I was like, I've got to get this out of the house because I've got all the company. So later on, about 10 o'clock at night, I called an exterminator to come over that I knew. It was a guy I knew. Okay. So he was someone I knew I felt safe with. And he said he had just gotten off a plane and he was looking for his car, and he didn't find his car till I actually called. So he said once he got settled, he would drive over. I said, well, I'm going to be up till like 2 a.m. because I'm cooking for like 40 people. Back then I used to cook for like 30, 40 people for Christmas every year. So this might have been a few more years back than 2 years ago, now that I'm thinking about it. But, hey, I'm getting older, y'all. So it ended up that, did I lose you, or am I still in the room?
I'm still here. I don't know about it. I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm here.
Okay. So there you are. Okay. So what happened was the minute that this man got there to look, the smell was gone. It was just like it just disappeared out of the house. So he did his little research with his flashlights to see if there was any droppings or anything. And then since he knew me, he just felt comfortable enough to go just sit on my couch in my living room. And he wanted to sit there and talk. And of course, I wanted to be in the kitchen cooking. And this is the scary part. Okay, this is really scary. This is like scared me. I've never been the same since it, really. I had the Christmas tree up by my back window that I now have full curtains that go top to floor all the way across my sliding doors and my big picture window, so it all kind of connects. But back in the past, I used to just have a curtain over the big picture window that opened up. And I had both curtains closed together. And it's hard to describe here, but all of a sudden, he says, "Do you see that?" And I was like, "What?" And he said, so my curtains parted about 1 inch. So I thought, okay, well, maybe it was just wind or something, right? And then all of a sudden, I was trying to get in touch with what the thing was, and he wouldn't be quiet. And, because he just kept like talking, and I was like, just be quiet for a minute, be quiet, as I was watching them open. And my curtains opened over 2 feet wide on their own. And so this man got up and he walked toward the door, because I have to change the names to protect the innocent. And he walked toward the curtains and he stood there and he mumbled something. And he came over to the side of the sofa and he said, "Whatever is here protects you, but it doesn't want me here," which was grateful. I was grateful for that, at that moment too. But whatever it was definitely, there was no possible way. Those curtains are not on a pulley. They were on those little round, little, what do they call them? Like curtain clips, So yeah, that was the curtains moving story. I know I'm boring you half to death.
Not at all. But I got one out when Hebrew told me before we got online that you were going to share some ghost stories. So I looked one up. I was going to share it with you guys, and it's
great.
It's funny, the synchronicities.
Story time with Sandy.
Yeah, it's funny, the synchronicity, because the story takes place in Germany.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's told by it was told on Reddit by a Reddit user named Bright Eyes 10, and it's considered one of the top 10 scariest stories to appear on Reddit. So it's kind of semi-famous, for lack of a better way of putting it. So I'm just going to read it, and then it's not super long, just a few paragraphs. Okay.
Well, I've got nothing to do.
All right, so here it goes. It's called Haunted Hotels. Um, when I was 15, I traveled to Europe with my family. We stayed in Ettel, Germany, in a small inn for a few nights. My parents had a double bed on the second floor. My sisters had the double bedroom next to theirs. I was lucky enough to have a single room all to myself at the far end of the hall. When we went to check in to our rooms, as soon as I entered the hallway our rooms were in, I remembered almost feeling as though I walked into a wall in parentheses of bad energy. I just felt so unnerved and uneasy in that hallway, but I passed it off as an overactive imagination. I slept the first night without any issues other than waking up a few times. The next morning at breakfast, one of my sisters mentioned feeling really uncomfortable in the hallway, almost as if the air was crushing. It unnerved me even more that I wasn't the only one who felt weirded out. Plus, she was an adult at the time, so it further cemented in my head that the wing of the hotel was odd. Later that night, I'm sleeping peacefully when about 2 a.m., it's always around 2 or 3 a.m., isn't it, guys? When about 2 a.m., I'm awoken by something ripping the covers off me and being jerked about 2 feet toward the end of the bed by my ankle. At first, I thought someone had broken into my room because when I turned toward what had grabbed me, a huge looming black shape was visible in the darkness, like a man was in my room. I frantically flipped the light on, only to have there been nothing there. The window was locked from inside. There was no one in the closet or the bathroom, and my room was also still locked from the inside. I stayed up the rest of the night scared, playing Cooking Mama on my DS. The next morning, we're at breakfast, and my sister mentions that she was up half the night because she thought she saw a person silhouetted against the wall of the room. But when she turned on the light, there was no one there. It was just a bizarre and creepy experience. We checked out that day, so I didn't get to experience anything after that, but it still freaks me out to this day. So, whatever you guys think about that.
That was pretty freaky, yeah.
Yeah.
Some scary stuff.
It's always
Okay.
worse when you have a witness. Like you mentioned that the lady that was there cleaning your house and the daughter, they were there too. So whenever you have another person that experience it with you, it gives it more validation.
Right, right. And that was what I was going to mention next was when I was about probably 13, maybe not 13, probably about 12. I was visiting a friend on a street in Kirby. The street was Frank Borman, and it was my girlfriend who's already passed now. Her parents' house, and her other sister and me always hung out. So late at night, one night, we decided to walk down to the pool. There was a pool down the street. It's like a community pool in Kirby. So we were walked down there and we hopped the fence and we're sitting there with our feet in the water and we decide, maybe it's getting late and we should go back to the house. And there's this like lots of street lights in Kirby, so it's pretty lit up, the streets. And so we're walking back and all of a sudden we see, and we still talk about this to this day. Okay. When she's in town or something like that, or if we bump into each other, it's something that she don't live here no more, but it comes up. So all of a sudden, this thing starts to come toward us. It looked like at first it was a man on a bike with a black cape. But as it approached us, it was as if me and her were side by side with only maybe 3 to 4 inches between us walking together. You know what I mean? Like if you're walking side by side, and all of a sudden this thing starts to just come right at us, and you notice that there is absolutely nothing underneath, no bike, no nothing. And it's got a pretty good size head, like a Darth Vader kind of hat. That's all I can see is so much black that it looks like kind of Darth Vader's cape and stuff, and then it just flies between us. And when we turned our heads, it was gone. And to this day, me and that girl are like still wondering what it was that we saw. You know, there was two of us again on that one.
Huh.
Yeah. And then the strange happenings in my house. I have alarms setting themselves.
So do you live alone now at this time?
I'm gonna turn mine on. Hi. I was like, well, here on, I'll be on. I do. I certainly
I
do.
don't know if with all that weird stuff going on, I could do that. Like, I would feel so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, I actually have a bi-level house now. I've built my home into where there's a stairwell outside, and I'm a landlord, but I don't really associate with my tenant. That's not my thing. So, but I would not. They would have no way to get in here. You know. So I basically live alone. But I just started that in 14. I renovated the top floor. Prior to that, I, just was totally by myself in the house and for years, So no, I have to handle it. It's like, you got to get up and go to work. You got to be not afraid of things. But there are every night, like when I'm on and I'm listening to Dan's show, this wall right over here, let me try to show you this wall over here, right outside that wall is a stairwell. And on the weekends, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, my tenant is not on the property at all. And I would be able to know because I could look outside and see. There's always a banging, like someone is going up the outside stairs and they're inside a locked gate. And then I have a gate that I have on the inner, I have a door at the top of my stairs that's metal, locked and alarmed. But then down the stairs, I made this little folding gate that kind of opens and closes so that I can I used to keep my animals out of there because they used to try to go upstairs. And I made this really cool gate out of wood and stuff. And the interesting thing is that I know the sound of that gate closing. It makes a certain particular click. And so for the last 4 weeks straight, that gate at the end of my stairwell, he probably just disappeared. That gate at the end of my stairwell just disappeared. I mean, not disappeared. It makes a sound like click. Sorry about that. It just click. You could just hear it close. And so when those sounds come on, I've learned to teach myself to kind of not feel anything, like I have to numb out or I will just flip out. Because do you remember when you were little? Do you ever remember being in the living room watching a scary movie with your mom and dad, and then you'd be in the you'd have to go to the bathroom, but you would go to the bathroom real quick and then run back in the living room with everybody? I mean, that was just something that I did as a child. Does anybody remember watching scary movies with their families and having to go to the bathroom and then being so scared, that you ran back in?
I don't remember myself doing it so much, but I do remember my kids doing it when they were younger. Especially my daughter, she would definitely do that. Yeah, but I also remember, like, after even to this day, after I watch something that's kind of, I don't let that kind of stuff in anymore. Really, I don't watch much scary movies.
Me neither.
I love watching scary movies, man.
But what I do occasionally, because if it intrigues me enough, I'll give it a chance. And I like suspense and thrillers and psychological dramas. I'm just not into chainsaw hack 'em up type stuff. You know what I mean?
No, nothing like that. I do like the old, Friday the 13th movies and Nightmare on Elm Street movies, though. I still watch those, but those are more comical than they are just scary. But I do like the ones that are loosely based on a true story or, stuff like that. But
when I watch something that gives me that kind of that EBGB feeling, and then later when you go to bed and you turn out the lights, the shadows always seem to have a way of looking like more ominous than they normally do, or they make the curtains make a shape that they don't normally make, or you just see strange things. Like everything just seems just a little bit more paranormal than usual. So I know it's just my own mind and my own overactive imagination, but it's still, that it still happens.
The reason I mentioned that, scaring, when you're watching TV with kids, when you're kids and stuff, and that running back in the room sensation, because when something does happen in my house that I sense, I got that feeling, but I've got nowhere to run.
Mhm.
It's like, where am I going to, who's going to, there's no living room to run back to. So I'll get under my covers in my bed, and I don't like my hands to hang out of my covers when I sleep, or, certain things, but I truly try not to, you know, overly scare myself, if you know what I'm trying to say, because there's, there's nowhere that I can go run into.
Oh yeah, Christopher Lee. I liked it. I like the Christopher Lee vampire movies, man. Those are awesome. Dracula movies. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was dead
I was reading
with
some
that.
comments, but I'd like to change gears here just for a second.
All right, shifted into a different gear. Are we going to go into overdrive, reverse, or neutral?
I think
Neutral.
it's funny you should mention driving references because I'm holding in my hands here the A-Team van, and I've got two different ones. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up because there's an old Mandela effect, and we mentioned this on the show before, but we didn't have any live evidence of residue at the time when we mentioned it. And about 6 weeks ago, I got on eBay and I ordered another A-Team van because I have one that's from you remember when they came out with that movie, the A-Team, the movie?
Plus, just generally speaking, only one A-Team van is never enough.
Well, yeah, that's generally speaking, that's true. Sagittarius.
But yeah, let's. I know, right? So let's see these vans, man.
Oh, speaking of vans, I see Eddie Van King. I hope he's still here to watch this. He's always talking about the A-Team and how
I assume that he was the one that sold you the van.
He's still here. He's still here.
The van doesn't have a used bed in it, by the way.
He's still on the show. I have a way of doing it. You should put the @ sign hero before you type a name, and that's how people can see that you're talking to them. Like sometimes you'll respond to me, Hebrew, on Dan's show, but the reason I don't see it is because you don't put @ before Truth Sets You Free.
Right.
So when you put @ there, it'll light it up.
So, but I'm going to turn my camera on now so you can see. That's why I had my camera on earlier. I was preparing for this. Now, here is the one.
Oh, by the way, with those glasses and that toboggan on, you look really cool, man. You look like you could be in a Die Hard movie as a terrorist or something.
Oh, man, that'd be cool. Do you see a really good, because I can't really see this with my glasses on. It looks kind of bluish color to me. Do you see the color?
Can you stretch your camera across the page?
Hold on. Oh, yeah. Actually, I can make it so I'm just one person. See there? Do you guys really see it now?
What are we looking for? Because I don't.
You're kind of getting a glare off that light there, Hebrew. There you go.
Okay. Do you see the two different colors?
Yeah, there's a grayish color at the top, then the red stripe, of course, and then the rest of the van is a darker gray or a blackish color.
Okay, but you can't see the grayish color.
I can't.
Yeah.
I see everything as one black color.
Really?
Now, if you look at the top there, Vivian, like where the window, like the driver's window is, there's a slightly lighter shade that goes from the window to where the red stripe is.
You know what, Hebrew? Turn it a little bit like you're tilting it with the window toward me, toward the screen. No, like not the butt of the van, but okay. All right. Well, sort of.
Get the glare. There it is.
Yeah, I kind of got it now. I think I can tell it's just a little bit lighter, maybe.
Yeah. It's not drastic. It's ever so faint, but there is a difference.
Oh, I see it now. Oh, yeah, yeah. Bring it back. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wow. What's the deal? Is this a Mandela effect?
This is an older Mandela effect, and the reason why I'm pointing this out. Now, these are two different companies, obviously, because this one came from 2014, and the other one is an original 1983 model, which came from Galoob. However, I did that to point out, if you go on the internet and look at all the pictures of the original 18 van, you'll see the color difference. But you get a good look at this, and you see that it's not all one solid color. All right. Now I'll show you the one from 83. Let me see.
Back it up. Back it up. Bring it back. There you go. That's way better back there. That looks like all one solid color.
Sagittariusly, what do you think?
I don't see two different shades on that one near. At least I can't notice it on the camera anyway.
But Hebrew, are they supposed to have? It
looks like it's all the same color except for the red stripe, which is not exactly the same red stripe either. It's slightly different.
Well, it's probably faded a little bit.
No, I mean the dimensions, how thick it gets, where it turns up. Yeah, the little air. What's that thing called? The spoiler is slightly different.
Oh yeah.
Did you just switch vans again, or is that the same one you just had a second ago?
No,
can you hold them both up at the same time?
I'll try.
Wait a minute. What is the deal? Is it supposed to be one solid color?
How can I do this?
I guess I'm trying to find out. Is it supposed to be one solid color, and it's not?
It was one solid color.
Okay, and it's supposed to be just a replica of the real vans.
Yeah.
Or is this from a movie or something that I don't know about?
It's from the TV show.
Okay, which TV show?
The 18.
Okay, see, I never watched it. I didn't know.
You know, the one with Mr. T in it?
Okay, yeah.
Some pictures here that I wanted to show that I've shown these before. Sagittariusly seen them, but I just wanted to, let me stop my camera. Take off my woolly cap. There we go. That's better.
Now that you look down at them side by side and look how different the red line is, Hero.
Well, I can't do that right now. Let me see. Oh. Hold on. I'm looking at them now.
What it looked like was sort of glittery on the red thing on the other one.
Yeah, one's thicker. I see the thickness on this. The newer one is got a thicker, and it's lower down in an L shape, and this one just goes straight across like a checker mark.
Did you see them change yourself?
No, I actually noticed that that van, the first one I showed you, was in one of my Mandela family videos, and Stonebender was actually the one that pointed it out. Was when I turned it at a certain angle, he's like, that looks like one solid color, and then when you see it again, it's the two-tone color. Now here's some pictures. Let's see. You guys go ahead and talk amongst yourselves for a second.
Amongst. Amongst. We're monks. I was going to talk about, y'all remember back when my eyes were shifting back in December, last part of November of 18. Do y'all remember that?
I vaguely remember you called in Dan's show and talked about it.
Yeah, I freaked out. And then the interesting thing was Dan first put my picture up online, and I looked horrible in that photo because I had that frightened face on, and he was dissecting it. And then a few months later, when I was just watching the show and I was in the middle of typing, and then all of a sudden I look over and Dan had took my eye and cropped it real small, And he was telling this girl, want to see something scary? And then I said, damn, that's my eye. I called in. Well, there's this girl that I've recently met, and I've been hanging out with her doing like live chats. And she has actually physically saw my eyes shift over and over in front of her. So they're obviously still doing it. She said it's almost like I can do it upon command in front of her, because she'll say, think it now, think it, and then it'll happen. But it's only in front of her. Look at that. Look at those vans. Now that one looks more solid, that last one.
This
but
one?
the other, yeah, that one looks like solid color, except with the red. That one almost looks solid, but the first few you showed, those looked really separate colors.
Let me go back to those.
But do you have the van from the show, like the picture of the exact? See, look at that.
Yeah. Do you have any like clips from the show itself?
I could run some clips, but there's one on here like
Look,
that.
there it is.
Is
there
that
it is.
Mr. T with the
That's
van?
Mr. T, yeah.
I know, but is he just using any van, or is that the van from the?
And look, that one has the red in the wheels too, like your new van does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm saying, do you think that you could find the original van?
I think that one was the original.
Well, let me see.
It's hard to say. I mean, can you play? I guess still. Is there any stills from the show online?
I'm looking in the and then maybe I can send them to him real quick. I'm going to put the 18 van and see if something comes
That's
up.
the one I have right there.
Oh, it said the 18 van was crushed. Oh, check it out. The 18 van, that's how to build it. And they're all showing it that you're supposed to two-tone color it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that van in that show was solid black. See, I didn't remember the name of the show, but I remember Mr. T. But that was back in the 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because my kids were little then, and I would just kind of come in on what they were watching, but I never really watched a lot of TV. Even now, I've not turned my TV on. My real TV, like television channels, in over maybe 8 to 12 months. I don't really turn it on. I don't watch it ever.
You know what I remember? What's weird that I remember about that show? This is kind of a silly memory.
Sorry, I'm reading the comments, and third party said, "Put that thing down by the river and call it success."
And call it success.
Well, if you get the reference, it's from a Saturday Night Live skit.
I don't get something.
Remember Mick Foley?
McFarlane. What was his name?
No. The character's name was
Dan.
Was Foley.
Oh, Foley.
But yeah, Chris Farley did the character. But anyway, he would say, "I live in a van down by the river." You know, Matt Foley. That's what it was. I said Mick Foley. Mick Foley was the wrestler. But
yeah, I mean, I would need to see clips from the actual show, whatever van was in the actual show, to know for sure.
I'm confused. Was the 18 oh, there it is. There it is. I just found it. Oh yeah. Oh no, one scene, the van actually looks solid black still. Oh, okay, I gotta send this to you. And I mean, we're talking about just within seconds of this particular clip. Now, when you first look at it and you're looking at other parts of the clips, it'll look gray on top, right? But this one clip where it's coming out of this building, this particular van actually then goes to the solid black color. Hold on a minute. Hold on. Right there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is tell you it's at 106 and about 108. It's going to look solid black again. Almost solid black. I'm gonna copy this and send it to you right now, Huber.
It changes in the middle of the clip.
Yes.
Oh, wasn't that interesting?
And it has two. It actually shows it with the gray completely, after it changes a little bit ways down the road. So let me open my Hangouts here, and I'm pretty much sure you're teaching me how to use the computer, but just enforcing me to do something with it. I mean, okay, so I'm posting it now, and I think it's between 106 and 108. So just go like 105, and I'm just sending it to you right now.
All right.
Yeah, you
Now,
can slow the play speed down if you want to, so we
I'm
can
good.
watch it slow.
I want to watch it with y'all, but I'm going to run to the ladies' room. I'll be right back.
Well, I'll wait till I get it, and then when I get it, like you said, oh, there, I think I got it. Hold on. Let's go to Hangouts. Okay. Did she say 106?
Yeah, she said start out around 105, maybe 104.
All right, let me turn it. Okay, I got the sound off, so we'll play it with the sound off. And 106. Let me get it to that point.
Okay, I'm back.
Let's see here. That's the intro there. Okay. Oh, I got it 108. Let me wind it back a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to put it up there for everyone to see, but I got to go to screen sharing first. Let's go to screen share. Get out of Hangouts. And how do I get back to StreamYard? There we go. Screen share. Screen share.
Earlier, you were able to show stuff.
And
Weird.
go there.
Full screen your YouTube.
Oh, yeah. Let me do this. There we go. You guys see
there
that
it is.
now?
Yeah, it's just delaying itself on your
Okay, I got the sound off, but we don't need the sound for this. It's a
Now look, if you go back a little, can you take it back a little, please, before it runs in? I want you to take can you move the
wait.
Move it back to like 104, maybe 104 to start.
Let's see. Hold on. We'll slow it. How do you slow it?
1.25.
0.25?
Yeah.
Okay.
Up to the
That's
top.
the slowest setting.
At
And
the
then
top.
put it like on 1 minute. Yeah. Put it at the 1 minute mark.
1 minute mark.
Excuse me.
All right, now press play.
No, not yet. Go back a little bit to about 104. Yeah, right there. We'll watch it from there. You're gone way too far back. Way too far back. Right about there. Start it there.
I have it at.
No, right there. Stop there. Stop there, hun. Stop. Right there. No, go back. Right there. Now push. Play.
It's playing.
Watch. Look, it looks solid. Now watch in a minute.
That's just cool to watch in general.
I see a little
It does, yeah.
Look. It looks solid. It looks solid, but maybe it's the lighting. Now it doesn't. Look. It's almost like it goes in and out.
Let me wind it back.
Did you see that? When it was going to the ground in the perfect lighting, it looked solid. Maybe it's just the color. I don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like the way the light hits it. If the light hits it a certain way, you can see this. Like right there, you kind of see it.
There, it looks totally solid.
Mm-hmm.
There's no. When it comes out that thing,
I can see the gray right there. Now it looks solid. Let's
look. Why is it changing? And the stripe disappears. Do you see it? The stripe disappears as it's landing to the ground, Hebrew.
Maybe they used the stunt double.
You can see right there, the stripe's totally gone. Now it's back. And now it's
Stripe's
gone.
gone again.
Yeah.
I think it's a lighting issue.
Yeah, but even if it was a lighting issue, red would not just disappear. Red would not fade out like that.
You would
Every
think
other
not.
No, red would not. Every other color would. Have you ever spilt red soda on your carpet? Red does never stop showing itself. Look, the red stripe was gone. Look, did you see that other scene? Go back just right there. There's no red stripe on the side of that van till it comes at look. This is so weird.
Seeing if there's any other.
Great van jump. It's just crazy because even when it's landing is when I really am freaking out because you can clearly see
Look,
it.
none of these guys have their seatbelt on.
All right. Hey, man. We didn't wear seatbelts.
They're jumping out of buildings with no seatbelt on. I mean, come on, guys.
All right. Watch this. Watch. You can see the light color right there. There's the light gray at the top. Now let's see as it goes down further. Now remember, I'm playing this super slow, so it'll take it a while to get back on screen. But yeah, you notice they're not wearing seatbelts, but there it is, the light gray. You can really see there.
And the red tires.
Oh, I was looking at, yeah, there's a delay in my computer. Y'all are like red tires and it didn't even show up yet on mine.
Well, you watch on StreamYard. I'm watching on StreamYard, not on YouTube. That's why.
I'm on StreamYard.com.
Oh, okay.
But I was looking at, no, honey, I was looking at my computer screen and my phone. I forgot to look down at it. So my phone was at a different place than my phone is moving quicker than what's going on in the computer.
Let's see here. It should be coming up again. There it looks. Well, I'm not showing the top. Yeah, I can see the gray there too. But
well, it looks like in the show it officially had gray on it.
The color there it looked like.
There's gray, like that's big. It almost looks green.
Yeah.
It just depends on where you're looking at it too. Like if I'm looking at it with my phone on a stand in front of my computer, and then I look up to the computer and the color looks a lot different on the actual computer too. So that's weird.
Maybe it was just to throw off the cops, like when they called in a two-tone van, solid black van,
Do you think that they didn't want to smush the real van, so as that van came to a landing, they used a stunt double? But then why were your vans, if you believe, you said that this used to be a solid color always, right? And now all of a sudden it changed and your toys changed, right?
That's how I remembered it.
So then all of a sudden out of nowhere, we see it go solid black. That kind of, that's kind of weird. I've never seen red fade out like that.
It is definitely kind of odd. I'll give you that, Ebro.
So, well, there you go. There's one hell of a Mandela effect right in front of your eyes changing. And just like the action figures I have changed right in front of me.
Yeah, the weirdest one that I've run into.
Even Preliminal says that he saw the red stripe fade in and out.
Yeah.
You could see that it kind of faded out. It was totally gone, actually.
Play it again. He's saying play it again.
Play it again, Sam.
Play it again. Again.
Well, I mean, I'll play it one more time, and then I'll play it one more time for Preliminal because it's him. If I can get it back up there, I don't know where. Oh, there it is. All right. Let me screen share again. I'll take
This
a
time you can play it at normal speed if you want, just so we can see what it really looked like.
Wait, this ain't it. Is it? Yeah. Uh-oh. I don't think I'm supposed to show that logo. That was at the very beginning, right? Like 10.
It was going to be 104. Go to 104, and then it'll play
Yeah,
out.
that's good right there.
That's good right there. No, you were right there. Right there. That's good. Stop. Now watch that. Watch that. Watch that. Look at that. Look.
It disappeared right there.
Yeah, it starts to fade. Look at that. Look,
Totally
there's
gone.
no red stripe. It's gone.
Totally.
There's no red stripe. Now it's there. Now
And
look at it fade. Took right off. Yep, that's pretty cool. Look at that. Look at that. See, red's not going to not show. I don't care if light's hitting it or not. It's always going to show on black, especially red on black or white on black. If you had a white stripe, it's not going to fade. The white stripe, neither would the red stripe.
I like how it says limit yourself to speed limit, and then you see him crashing through.
That's like those. Listen, Hebrew. You remember Malcolm in the Middle, where those two ladies get in the parking lot fight, and then all of a sudden the car spins around after they're hitting each other in the parking lot, and it says "Make love, not war." Do you remember that scene?
I haven't seen that show in a long time.
You can look it up. It's called the menopause scene from Malcolm in the Middle, and the mother from Malcolm in the Middle. She's in the car, and this lady bangs her car with her car door, and then she goes, "Hey." She goes, "Well, it's not like it's going to hurt the value of your car." And then she takes her car and slams her car door. So next thing you know, they're trying to kill each other, and they wreck their cars so bad that as they're driving toward each other, they're going so slow, but they're trying to think they're going fast, that this person pushing their basket just walks right by them with the basket. And then they start heading into each other, and then they skid and scream. And the back of the lady's car says, "Make love, not war." Well, they're fighting like that. That kind of reminded me of that 55 thing. I was going to say on another Mandela effect, the Bible change Mandela effect that really, really made me realize that this was not a mistake, was when first it was the lion shall lie down with the lamb. And then about a month and a half ago, remember when I called into Dan's show, and it went from the lion shall, and then Dan forgot that I'd called in about it, which was really scary. It almost made me feel like they were Mandela affected. It ended up going to, of course, then to the wolf shall, and then all of a sudden shall just disappeared for a while, and it went to the wolf will, and then it went to the wolf will also, and then it's now back to the wolf shall also, and now it's the wolf will dwell back in my Bible again. Will, there's no shall again. And Dan had remembered the shall, but he completely forgot that even Fizzy Pop had made a comment where she said, "Who else is dwelling with the lamb?" That's how I knew, So there's been some that when that changed back, and then the other one that changed back that really, really got me was when, and my granddaughter was very involved in this one, and she even talked on your show, Hebrew, about it. And she was talking about it before it flip-flopped back from Looney Tunes, used to be TUNES, then it went to TOO, and now it's back to TUNES. Clearly back to, you can go online right now, let me see, and type in Looney Tunes, and so my granddaughter, do you remember when she was on your show and talked a little bit?
Yeah, I remember that.
She was the one saying she remembered it TUNES, right? And that TOONS was wrong. Well, now, wait till you see this. This is going to blow your mind. Oh my God. I'm going to send you this. I'm going to see if I can send you this. This is awesome. I'm going to send you something. Hold on. And then I'll tell you once you see it. I'm going to paste this to you. This is a Google page. And this Google page is going to say Looney Tunes again with the LOONEY in the actual box. But then when you go over to the left, everything is written Looney Tunes, including the actual Bugs Bunny, the one with, where the video shows, and it says TUNES on it again. Check it out. Check it out. Oh my God. That's so freaky.
Now, wait a minute. Wasn't the Mandela effect, it wasn't that it's that everyone thinks that it was Toons, TOONS, and everyone was saying that it wasn't.
See, not for me. Not for me. Not for me. It was always. See, for me, it was always growing up. It was TUNES for me.
Well, the Mandela effect is that it changed to tunes, as in playing the tune.
Well, look at it now. It's all messed up. There's tune in tunes in every. If you look to the picture for Google that I sent you right now on the right side of the screen, and look at the little pictures, it says Looney Tunes and Looney Tunes. It's all messed up.
See, for me, that one was always tunes, TUNES. Because, and I'll tell you why, because Merry Melodies, it was first called Merry Melodies, and then they switched over.
I'm confused. Are you saying that you also remember TUNES?
Yeah, I'm a TUNES guy.
Me too. Me too. Me too. You me too. Me too. Me too. And now it's back to tunes. Go look at it. I just sent it to you. It's back to what you remember.
What I'm saying is that it's always, I think it's the effect was people thought it was always TOONS.
No, it was TOONS about a month ago. Me and my granddaughter saw it. We saw it, TOONS, and she came to me and she said, Mima, I'm Mima. I just don't have the shotgun. But she said to me, Mima, I check my movies every day at home. She has all the old Looney Tunes movies. They were her dad's. And she goes, who's changing them?
No.
When I showed it to her, that it back to TUNES, she was like, what? She was like, who did this? And I said, well, I really don't know who did it, sweetie. But she recognizes changes. Like I've had some, I'm going to tell you, I had some Monopoly changes that blew my mind. And it wasn't, I think it might have been Carla Redpill who called into Dan's show one night. And she said that the night she called in and they were talking about Monopoly being spelt wrong because of the extra O in it. POLY. So I ran and got my game again because I have a tendency to do that. And I had noticed for myself that my cards were no longer the same. There was no longer markings on the community service cards on the back. But I also didn't only notice that the cards weren't the same, but that the cards had looked brand new. But it wasn't until I wasn't going to say anything to anybody because I want people to think I was crazy. Well, all of a sudden, I think it was Carla, it could have been somebody else, turned and said on the show right then, and she noticed that all her cards looked brand new. And my experience was not just my cards brand new. About 6 months prior to that, I had opened up my game, and my green board, I used to have a board with a green back on it, and then it had like the real heavy boards, because these boards were made back in the 70s when games were still, you know what I'm talking about, where games were made sort of heavy duty.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if you're catching on to what I'm saying. I open up the box of my 1974 game or 73 game, and I've got a blue board in there that's made like a piece of junk, and it's brand new without all my family markings on it. And so I waited that weekend. My granddaughter was coming over, she's played the game with me because I've had this game since I was a kid. And so she's playing the game with me. I said, well, go get the Monopoly game. And when she opened it up, guess what she said? She said, where did the green board go, Mima? So she saw it. See, she's 10 years old. These things, I met a group of girls who are 17 and 18 years old, or 16, 17, 18, Mandela affected. And these girls said that they feel like they're swimming in an ocean and they swim directly into, not land on it on the desert, but swim into a desert. And that they have been so shook up that in school there was a lot of arguments going on. And just see, I've always been a TUNES, and that was TOONS. That's been TOONS for like the last 2 years. And now all of a sudden, Tunes is back. Can you see that, Hebrew?
Yeah, that's how I always remembered it. But I thought the flop was that everyone else remembered it TOONS, and it was never that. And
See, isn't that weird how people all have different memory of
Sure.
things?
we have, I mean, but the weird part is that when they came out with Tiny Toons, it was TOONS.
Yeah, I remember that. That's not loony, though. No pun intended. It's not loony. It's not loony.
But
So I see what you're saying, that the Mandela effect was more the loony word. But see, Perliminal wrote it. Looney Tunes in 1930s to 1970s. See, Tunes now, see, he's remembering opposite of me. So me and him are on different timelines on that one. Like I believe that we're on, dwarfers, like different dwarf, because there's no way that two people can be in a room and one person remember Michael Jackson's death in 14. That boy that I did the video with that said that Michael Jackson, there was no way he could have possibly died in 09 because this guy was born in 2000 and he was already in middle school when Michael Jackson died, and that would make him 12. And there was no way he was 9 years old because he wasn't in middle school yet. And he remembered Michael Jackson dying while he was in middle school. So I did a video and it sent it to Dan. And then I got on that show, so Dan finally realized there was a lot of people in the audience that were saying, yeah, I remember it after Whitney's death, not before. And there's so many situations like this that I'm starting to realize that there's got to be. Did I ever tell you about, am I driving you crazy here? Hello?
You're not driving me crazy.
Okay.
I'm just listening.
I was trying to get Hebrew to tell me if I ever told him about something. Now I can't remember what it was. That's okay. It'll come back in about 2 minutes, y'all. Proceed.
Well, you were talking about Michael Jackson's death. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to bring it back. It was one that I.
Here's what we'll do while you're thinking of that. We'll go ahead. I've got the participant list up here. I'll go ahead and give this room one last call out, and then you can.
I don't know if I'll remember. Isn't that weird that does that happen to y'all where it just leaves your mind?
All
Sure.
the time.
Hmm.
I feel like somebody just erased my brain.
Your
And I'm a
name
pretty
is
smart
Vivian.
lady. Do what, hun?
Your name is Vivian. You're
Thank
on
you.
a show called Taco Tuesday. The Hebrew is sad.
And satirically speaking, it's coming in low.
Low. How low can you go?
I don't know. I'm trying to get. Let's give this room one final shout out, and then we'll get back to. Then if you think of it.
I hope I can. I'm trying really hard, and I don't know what. I don't know what happened. I can feel it like on the edge of my tongue, but it's not there.
Well, I'll go ahead and do the shout out real quick. All right, so we had Lorraine Lamore was in the house. The Things You Forgot. Chaos Reality was here. Euler Greg. RoboCub was here. Let me go down. Red Shirt Blues. Data Junkie got scared off. Let's see. Did I mention Euler Greg? Yeah, I guess I mentioned him twice. Connie Joe Wood. Fizzy was here earlier on. She popped out. Or she could still be lurking. Who knows? Let's see here. Scroll down. Eddie Von King, the real one. Third Party. Preliminal. Been with us for a while. And am I saying this right? Michelle Perez is in the room.
I saw
And
Nike's in there. I don't know how you pronounce it.
the Nike.
Yeah.
And good old Mystery Pride is here. He just popped in. And if I missed your name,
Michelle Perez.
believe me, if I missed it, then I'm sorry, but we'll get you next time.
You just missed Michelle Perez and Red Shirt Blues.
No, I mentioned them.
Really? God, where am I? I guess I'm tired. That's weird.
And so there you go. Did you think of it yet?
No, it's weird. It was just there, and it was a really good.
About Michael Jackson supposedly dying before Whitney Houston or something like that.
Yeah, Michael Jackson now died before I remember him dying in 14 because I was dating this guy. There was no possible way that I knew him in 2009, but other people have different memories, so you could just be in the middle of like, I knew exactly the day that he died, because not the day, but I knew it was in 14 because I met this guy in 2011 and I didn't even know him in 2009.
And I like RoboCub's answer. He's dead, Jim. That's a Star Trek reference if you didn't get it. No, I remember being in my mom's swimming pool, and she had a swimming pool at her old house, and she hasn't been in that house since 2009 or 2010, somewhere along that. And I remember being in the swimming pool that day, and I think it was in June or July. It was in June, right? Was that the official?
Yeah, the official date online is June 9th, I think. And it might not be. That's my dad's death. That's when my dad died. That's weird. Let me look it up. Michael Jackson's death.
But I do remember getting that news. We were swimming around, and all of a sudden, my sister-in-law came over. She was coming over there to swim. She said, "Hey, did you hear that Michael Jackson died?"
June 25th, 2009 is the date they have on here.
And that's when I remember it.
See, and I remember 2014 because
Wow.
I wasn't dating. So I didn't even know this person in 09. There's no possible way. I'd never even met him or anything. And then I met him at the end of 10 or early 11. And then I started dating him like for a couple of years before I broke up with him. So I ended it probably close to the early 15. And I was in the kitchen and I'd spilt some bleach on one of my pajamas I really liked. So I laid it out across the counter in the kitchen, and I went and got some bleach and put it in a little thing in a paintbrush. And I decided just to make like decorations on my pajama because it's one of my soft ones I don't want to get rid of. So I decided just to, dude it up and make it look like it was part of a picture. So the interesting story behind this was I was watching the TV and I had to stop and everything because Michael Jackson's death was just announced and everything. And I remember actually seeing the funeral that week and all, on the TV, little things about it and stuff like that. But a year or so later, I was wearing that pajama thing and my cleaning lady was here and she goes, "Do you know you got Michael Jackson on your back?" And I said, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, you got Michael Jackson on your back." And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "And if you look at one of the bleach stains, it's literally Michael Jackson doing that little sideways thing and tilting his hat." And so I still got the pajama, but when you connect something so strongly.
Yeah, I know. It says here that Prince died in April of 2016.
Right. I remember that.
I remember.
Now I know that.
Yeah.
Because my grandkids did the little memorial.
And according to you, though, then that means Prince would have died before Michael Jackson.
Not necessarily. He would, if he died in 14, you said he died 16, right?
Oh yeah, it still would have been a few.
I remember Prince. I remember Prince dying after Michael Jackson because
and Whitney Houston has always been like one of my favorite people in the world. I mean, I literally cry forever if I think about her gone. And I remember thinking when Michael died, oh my God, first Whitney and now Michael.
Yeah, Whitney died in 2012.
Yeah,
February 11th,
absolutely,
2012.
absolutely.
Yes, Junkie, we're done with the ghost stories, but we are talking about people who have passed on that we think passed on when they didn't pass on, but they did pass on. But we thinking they did pass on in different years than they actually did.
How about Elvis Presley? What year do you remember that being?
I don't really remember, but I know everybody thinks he's alive and stuff still.
I was born the year he supposedly died. I'm doing the finger quotes, by the way. You can't see him, but 77.
Yes, August 16th, 77.
But the chances of him, like this lady in the chat room talking about, him faking his death and being this pastor, the weird thing about that pastor is that he does always seem to pop up at Graceland. He's always at Graceland. And why, if he doesn't want to be thought of, supposedly on one of his videos, he goes on to say, I'm not Elvis, I never was, or I'm not anybody other than who I am. If that was the case, that he really wasn't, why is he constantly going to Graceland at night when no one knows? People have took pictures and videos of him going there. And when you hear him sing, have you heard any of this? What this guy sounds and looks?
I haven't heard any of that. What I saw a while back on YouTube was videos of some old bum like living in the streets. Oops. Sorry about that. Let me turn that on mute. Sorry, my TV came on. But yeah, he was living on the streets as some old bum or something like that was the last thing I heard. I never heard of this pasture thing, but go on.
Well, there's a pastor and you can look him up. And they actually do face recognition with him where they cross Elvis's face to him. And you can close your eyes and listen to this man sing. And he is, I'm going to send you the video. I'm going to send you it right now.
Oh, okay.
Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. Work amongst you while I do that.
We'll talk amongst ourselves.
Amongst. We're going to be monks.
Monks. Oh, monks, yeah.
Monks, yeah.
If we're monks, aren't we going to be quiet?
No, not when you're working, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Sagittariusly speaking, you've been awfully quiet so far. What do you think about the whole Elvis faking his own death thing?
I think that there was possible that if the first celebrity that would have had a good reason to do it would have been him, because he couldn't go. He was like one of those first victims of that star-studdedness where you couldn't go anywhere without being totally mobbed by fans. Even though he had kind of died down a little bit because he was getting to where he was Fat Elvis and he was playing Vegas Lounge acts. So I don't know.
The problem is when you do my numerology, I have the exact same numerology as him. And it basically says that people like him, which are like me, tend to like to disappear from situations if they get to affecting our spirituality. And there was rumor that this guy, I sent you the video, by the way. This is a short one of it, but it's not the one where they're doing the face recognition. I can send you that one too.
Where the whole story gets weird to me is the fact that, okay, there was questions surrounding his death, right? And then fast forward 20, 30, 40 years later, whatever, and Michael Jackson is dating is marries his daughter, right? He gets married to Elvis's daughter.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, and then he dies under similar circumstances with similar conspiracies. It's all just and Elvis has a special land, and Michael Jackson has a special land. It's just all so weird. It's so surreal to me.
But he had always said something about not wanting to, that God would called him in a different direction, and he felt that when this pastor talks, he talks a lot on a lot of his sermons and stuff, and talks about how he didn't like who he had become, and so it's kind of cool. I sent it to you. Did you get it, Hebrew?
We'll look at it here in a second. Now this guy's alias is what? Pastor Bob? That's what he calls himself?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Pastor Bob Joyce.
Now, if it is really Elvis, now Elvis would be about what, 86, 87 years old by now, or close to 90, wouldn't he?
Well, now, but these videos are a little bit old, and
okay.
I think he would be like 83, but in these videos, he's going to still be a little younger. So you have to kind of account for 3 years ago. He could, believe it or not, I have a girlfriend of mine, and she was here today to eat, and she's 76 and looks like she's 55.
Huh.
So, and I'm 55, and I look like I'm, maybe about 42. So, you really can't go by that, especially if he's eating healthy, taking care of himself. But when you hear him sing is what you're going to do. But there are other videos, and until you pull that one up, I want to send you another one. But I don't want.
I'm only 29, and I look like I'm in my mid-40s.
Who said that? Strategically speaking?
Yeah, I'm just trying to be funny.
No, you do look young. I thought you were about 42. How old are you?
I'm a little older than that.
Oh, because believe it or not, my son is
between 45 and
50 and look 30. That's awesome, Eddie.
So you're going to play the video there, Mr. Hebrew 77 from Eternia? Are you there?
I don't know what happened. Hebrew.
I guess we have to talk amongst ourselves.
I don't know if you just.
I had to skip past the commercial. Yeah, I'll play the video, and you guys can judge for yourself. I think he looks a little bit like Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, he sure does. But you know what? I'm going to send you a video for you to look at later. Okay.
Okay.
So that you can really watch this and kind of judge for yourself. And it's a 37-minute video, and I'm going to send that to you now. And I kind of feel like there's some videos that you'll start to search out there where he's saying, I'm not anybody but me. But the one I sent you, the little short one, we'll watch that one. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, here we go. Let me screen share here. Share the screen. I'm going to go here. Make it huge. There we go.
What you hear is voice. His voice will throw you. It's amazing.
Once I stood in the light with my head out in the darkness as black as could be. Life home, I cried, oh Lord, don't hide your face from me. Like a king I may live in a palace so tall, with great riches to call my own. But no other thing in this world I ever that's worse than being alone.
Okay.
All right, I think that's enough.
Yeah, we'll stop it there, and I don't know. You guys can hold on. Let me get it off of here.
Look at that. Look at that. Look. Did you see that? Did you see it? Did you see the face recognition where they showed his face, just blending in? Oh, you got the other one up on there, Hebrew. You got the other one up on there that I sent you. And
no, that one's about 2 minutes and 26 seconds long.
No, but this one you know what I did? I did something stupid. I was looking up at my screen on my computer where I had switched to the other one and looked down, and just ignore me. Just ignore me. I don't know what I was doing. I guess I'm tired. I'm mad at myself because I can't remember something. Does that happen to y'all a lot where you'll be like, you've got
time.
Oh my God, come on. And the sad part about it is when I am dealing with a real true Mandela effect, and then my daughter goes, "Oh, it's just your memory, Mom."
Yeah, because she's blaming on all those other times you can't remember something.
Mm-hmm.
That's just an example of that. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. But, well, and when I'll remember that other one is when I hang up.
But at least they, they know that Mandela is real based on what you're telling us, because they've experienced it for themselves on certain occasions.
Right.
Well, do you want to wrap this show up and put a bow on it there, Hebrew? Did we lose you again?
I think he's there, but when he gets busy doing something, he just gets into it or something.
Yeah, either that or he's making himself a sandwich. Or the
There we go. Okay. Yeah, we can go ahead, and I think we've had a good show here tonight, and we would like to thank our special guest, The Truth Will Set You Free. Thank you for joining us here tonight. We surely appreciated your stories, especially the ghost stories and all of your Mandela.
It's always nice to have you on as a guest. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
If you ever want to have Hebrew or myself on one of your live streams, be sure to let us know. I'm sure.
I don't know how to live stream. I would love to learn how to do that. And I'd love to live stream. That's something I really want to do, because I want to do some reading type things and some healing work. And I did have a live stream one time on this Now show or Now channel, but then after a while you had to earn coins to stay there. And, so yeah, but we could be the Three Musketeers here, y'all. So anytime you want me, just let me know.
All right.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you on again some night, and maybe even have you on Shifty Sunday some night as well.
Yeah. I'm kind of shifty.
I think we all are shifty. You know what they say, shift happens.
Shift happens. And you know what else they say? When you're in a situation, don't let yourself take anybody. Don't shift. Don't let yourself shift. Don't take anybody's shift. You know?
Right. Yeah.
That's right. Don't shift your mood. It's a shifty world, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So, Sagittariusly speaking, did you want to close out the show?
No, I think you're much better at it, my man.
All right. Well, from everybody here at the Hebrew channel, we just like to thank everyone who tuned in and watched, and we will see you again. The next time I'll see, hopefully, most of you will be on Thursday. And we will see you again on Shifty Sunday. So take care, everybody, and God bless. And just remember, like I said a while ago, shift happens. So when the shift hits the fan, watch Shifty Sunday. Good night, everybody. And I think we'll go out the same way we came in with this little tune. And here it goes.
Don't do that.